Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening. A court has heard family breakdown is what led to the murder of 36-year-old Shane Jeffrey Barker at Campbelltown. 14 years after the father was found dead in his home, his ex-in-laws are facing trial accused of his killing.
Leaving a trial determining the rest of their lives. Cedric and Nolene Jordan charged with murdering their former son-in-law at Campbelltown 14 years ago. Crown Prosecutor Daryl Coates giving his opening address today, telling the jury the accused had motivation and the skills to shoot Shane Jeffrey Barker. When Mr Barker's marriage to their daughter turned toxic, that's when the relationship became strained. The Jordans claim Mr Barker was responsible for molestation and sexual assault of family members, claims which were investigated and strongly denied and never led to any charges being laid. Mr Coates adding different witnesses will testify Mr Jordan showed them an unregistered firearm with a silencer and said, "This could be a good rifle to get rid of someone with," adding, "Don't worry about him, I've got a bullet with his name on it." Mr Barker was shot 4 times at his house with the murder weapon never recovered. One cartridge was found at the East Street property which police say belonged to a very unique firearm and will allege matches cartridges found at the Jordans' Highland Lakes property. The accused, when first interviewed, told police they were at their Swansea home at the time of the murder. But when interviewed again, it's alleged police showed them phone records which put them at Campbelltown around the time of Mr Barker's death. However, the pair say they were just passing through on their way to get KFC. Mr Coates says this is when they started a web of lies. The defence team will give its opening address when the trial resumes on Wednesday. It's then expected the first witness of the 2-month trial will be called. Talia Jordan, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmanians are being advised to keep practising COVID-safe behaviours, with a rise in cases noted over past months. The state's Chief Medical Officer urging vaccination as the state prepares for winter illnesses.
COVID cases have slowly climbed in recent months.
There was an average of 135 cases of COVID notified to the Health Department per day during the week.
Around 50 hospitalisations and 2 deaths this week from the illness, and the virus is tipped to stick around this winter.
From June to September, there's usually a quite steep increase in the number of infections that are occurring due to influenza, RSV and now COVID. That lasts for a month or 2.
The community's been warned against complacency. Masks have been reintroduced for visitors at the Royal Hobart Hospital.
We are seeing happen is that as the risk changes, then the response will change with it as well. And that's the new environment that we're living in here in Tasmania.
There are concerns of how Tasmania's stretched health system will handle the caseload.
And it impacts on elective surgery, it impacts on the emergency department, it impacts on the health system right across the board.
We've got another COVID outbreak and we've got already staffing problems across our hospitals.
With public information key in battling outbreaks, the Health Workers Union says COVID campaigning shouldn't be cut off.
And they should be on the front foot, letting people know what's going on as we enter into what will be a very, very difficult period in any event.
3 years into the pandemic and the advice for those looking to stay safe from any respiratory illness hasn't changed. Get vaccinated and stay home if you're sick. Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
There's been no further release of Tasmanian government documents by Russian hackers. The Deputy Premier says if there is a development, the government will advise the public.
As always, check your privacy, check your passwords, do what you can to minimise your own risk, knowing that there has been a theft of data.
Anyone with concerns about their personal information being released can call the Tasmanian Government hotline on 1800 567 567 between 9 a.m. and 6 a.m. Climate activists have converged on the doorstep of Parliament to plead for greater action in addressing environmental issues, kicking off a 3-day campaign. Speakers took to the microphone to highlight what changes can be made to preserve Tasmanian landscapes into the future.
We're the ones who are going to have to continue to live with these consequences into the future, and it's so important that we're here at events like this, part of these sorts of campaigns, to be able to lend our voice to them.
There are so many little organisations who all want the same thing. They all want real action to stop the climate emergency.
The event will continue tomorrow to coincide with Earth Day, where thousands across the globe are expected to host their own gatherings. Tasmania's roads are about to have eyes in the sky as state-of-the-art technology rolls out to catch distracted drivers in the act. New cameras are able to spot motorists using their phones, with steep fines for anyone doing the wrong thing.
Distracted drivers in black and white. They're on our roads, on their phones, and putting themselves at risk.
It's very frustrating for everybody involved. Fatal motor vehicle crashes have an impact on a whole range of people in the community.
But now, cutting-edge cameras make it possible to see into your vehicle, checking your phone is stowed and you're wearing a seatbelt.
Quite honestly, it's hard to believe that this is still something that we need to be talking about.
They're being added to mobile speed cameras introduced in September. So far, the units have caught 18,000 people driving above the speed limit.
So that's 18,000 more people who have learned the lesson the hard way about the importance of slowing down and obeying the speed limit. But frankly, they're lucky to be alive.
Last year's road toll was 51, the worst in more than a decade. But the number of fatalities doesn't tell the whole story.
So whilst people might look solely at the fatality rate and see that that's down and think we're doing better, overall we're actually doing significantly worse.
So far this year, fatal and serious crashes are up by a third, according to the Road Safety Advisory Council. A new campaign is urging drivers to buckle up and put their phone away before going anywhere.
If we all take a little bit more personal responsibility for being safer road users, our roads will be safer for everyone.
The new cameras are being tested now, with steep fines coming online within months. Annie Green, 7 Tasmania News.
Vinnies' annual CEO Sleepout is returning for another year to raise vital funds for those experiencing homelessness in Tasmania. The event will take place next month at Blunston Arena and UTAS Stadium to ensure locals from all corners of the state can get involved.
It's an uncomfortable experience and it can be a confronting one. Ideally, it'll start the conversation that will continue to grow, because we need more community support to help Vinnies do the good works that we're known for.
We're extremely excited. It was a complete no-brainer the minute that we were asked to be involved. It was an instantaneous yes, and what else can we do to assist?
A goal has been set to raise $160,000 for the organisation. Community leaders are encouraged to sign up for the experience. Talented skaters have descended on Ravenswood for the second annual Ravon Escape competition. Around 100 people turning out to see skate, scoot and BMX stars of the future battle it out.
It was pretty good. I got 45 seconds, but yeah, it could have been better, I reckon.
Face painters, food and community services joined in on the fun.
I think the skate park draws the families in. There's lots that go on the circuit and enter all the competitions. It's a really grassroots program.
Organisers are hoping it will become an ongoing annual event. A Rive water tank has undergone a serious makeover thanks to a new street art installation. Tasmanian creatives and school students are behind the work, which is designed to reinvigorate the space, and it's already catching the eye of locals.
It's bringing this area alive because we drive past it all the time. Stunning pictures.
We've had about 10 artists working over the course of the week, along with 4 youth from Clarence Council Youth Services.
Taswater and Clarence Council joining forces to make the project come to life.
Feedback from the community has in large part informed the final product behind us today. So it's a fantastic end result.
And a push from the community helped get the project off the ground after the previous mural was removed back in 2018 while resurfacing works took place. And work has begun on a brand new play space in Goodwood. The $3.4 million project at Giblin Reserve will cater for all ages and include accessible equipment and sports facilities.
This particular play space here at Giblin Reserve will provide something unlike anything we have currently in our municipality.
The federal government has pitched in $2 million for the project. It's expected the build will take a year. Dark Mofo is expanding ticket sales after popular events quickly sold out in the first week. Festival organisers have added venue upgrades and expanded their program in Tasmania to increase capacity for the most sought-after shows. The 2-week-long extravaganza kicks off on the 8th of June and is expected to draw thousands of interstate visitors.
Lauderdale will be looking to continue their momentum in the TSL after a round 2 win against Glenorchy. The Bombers have a tough task ahead of them when they hit the field for the important Anzac Day clash against North Hobart, where the Demons will also be eager to get a win on the board in front of a home crowd.
I've got no doubt there'll be it'll be a fiery game, but our focus is obviously trying to win the ball and put scoreboard pressure on, and yeah, that's where we'll take it from there.
We'll make some changes to bring in some heavier bodies because I know that we love a bit of a scrap and it can be a bit fiery, so we'll make changes to suit that.
All the round 3 action will kick off on Saturday, followed by 2 matches on Anzac Day, with North Launceston to sit this weekend out with the bye. Tasmanian Golden Girl Ariane Titmus was upstaged at the National Swimming Championships last night. 19-year-old rising star Molly O'Callaghan took out the women's 200-metre freestyle. Titmus finished second with Shayna Jack third. Meanwhile, Kyle Chalmers took out the 100-metre freestyle national title. The World Championships are in July. A Tasmanian racing legend is being remembered for his ongoing commitment to the sport. The community is mourning the loss of Milton Pettit, who was elevated to legend status in the state's Racing Hall of Fame last year. He called 41 Hobart Cups across his career before retiring. Despite an unbeaten start to the season and a goal bonanza, there's improvement to come from the Devonport Strikers, according to their manager. The NPL Tasmania League leaders will travel to play South Hobart tomorrow as they battle a plague of injuries.
Started the season well in terms of results and start. In terms of our performances, we're nowhere near where we want to be. We've had several discussions as the group about how we can improve that still.
We've been playing a decent solid football the last few weeks, but we haven't found that last bit to make it click and to get consistent, solid results.
Round 5 kicks off tonight with a heavyweight clash. Kingborough host second-placed Glenorchy. And tonight's Friday flashback is to the last time New Norfolk played in a statewide league grand final. In 1994, the Eagles fought valiantly but went down to Clarence in the TFL decider, a day which also saw new technology and a special guest.
As the crowds flowed through North Hobart's well-worn entry point, 1994's Tasmanian Football League decider was next level.
The star attraction off the field will be a telly wall, enabling spectators to view the TV coverage of the match on a giant screen. An outdoor cafe with a band, plus a special guest.
We've got Gary Sweet coming along. He'll be arriving most unexpectedly in a way that we're not going to announce.
The actor's big arrival was from the air, landing on North Hobart's centre stage.
Cool. Cool, you bet. It was a bit bumpy. Frank was a bit nervous at times.
New Norfolk charged through the banner, set to face an in-form Clarence, captained by Stevie Wright. And from the start, the Roos had the momentum.
It's a great start for Clarence.
But the Eagles stayed in there.
Dean King kicks it high, kicks it to the goals. Is it going to go through? What a sensational kick.
14,200 packed the ground. They saw highlights from both sides. Clarence kicking around the corner to goal. The Derwin's best, not to be outdone.
Snap and a goal.
Even the trainer got involved, throwing haymakers when the going got tough for the Eagles. Later in the game, though, it was all too easy.
He's closing from 35.
One more goal sealed the deal for Clarence, the club's second flag in a row, and a fine send-off for Scott Wade.
We've had some disappointments. We haven't had a great year, really. But this is fantastic.
Winners of the 1994 TFL Premiership, Clarence.
One to remember. Tom Johnson, 7 Tasmanian News.
Good evening. Hobart 23 today, Launceston 21 and Devonport 19. Burnie reached 21 degrees too after, well, we don't know how it started out there. I'll go for 12. We'll go with that. Friendly Beaches in the east had the high, 24, as showers continued over the west. Bushy Park 23, Grove 22, St Helens 21 today. Then it gets a bit cooler. The Bass Strait Islands 18, Lyowini and Strawn both 16. Low cloud did gather over the west coast and through Bass Strait. Mountain wave cloud over the east. Most of the country cloud-free today, just some convective cloud over the top end and onshore cloud over the eastern coastline. Tomorrow the high does its thing over most of the nation. A cold front is well south of the Bight. West-northwest winds tomorrow, picking up to 25 to 35 knots over southern waters, but lighter over the east coast. And with that, we have a gale warning that's been issued between Tasman Island and Low Rocky Point, and a strong wind warning is on from the north of Flinders Island to St Helens Point and from Low Rocky Point to Sandy Cape. Here's the weekend forecast. Cloudy for Hobart and 20. Maybe a shower for Maydena, 16 the top and 19 the high for Oatlands, fine. Launceston partly cloudy and 21 degrees, 19 the high for Devonport. Lyawini a possible shower, just 13 the maximum. For Burnie, cloudy and 18 degrees. There's 12 again tonight. 17 for Strawn and showery. Marrawar showers as well. And 21 along the east coast. A sunny day for St Helens, Swansea and Orford. On Sunday, finer, mostly sunny. 21 for the Hawks and Crows in Launceston. Temperatures sneaking into the 20s for most of us on Monday. Maybe a shower for Burnie. And on Tuesday, a fine, mostly sunny day. Sunny and 31 in Perth. A nice day in Adelaide as well. 20 and partly cloudy in Melbourne. Sunny in Canberra, but a shower on the way for Sydney and Brisbane. Hobart, cloudy at the moment, 17. Clear in Launceston, 16 right now and 16 in Devonport. Kim, the all-important Anzac round coming up. I've got a couple of tips for you. The Swans, of course, to beat the Cats. The Hawks will get over the Crows. And Essendon will beat the Pies. Lock them all in.
OK, I could do with all the help I could get with the tipping at the moment. Thank you, Murph. And that is all we have time for tonight. You can join Louise and the team over the weekend. For now, it is good night.